All right, top of the SportsMax Zone, the increase in the number of overseas athletes taking part in high school sports in Jamaica continues to be a major topic of discussion. Debate intensified following the recent ISSA Boys and Girls Athletics Championships, where over 100 non-Jamaican athletes took part. This phenomenon does not only affect track and field, though, but is also quite prevalent in football. On Tuesday, the president of the Intersecondary School Sports Association, ISSA, Keith Wellington, revealed that the principals who form ISSA voted in January to limit the number of overseas athletes competing in Jamaican high school sports. These athletes will form part of the existing quota system. It is important to note, overseas athletes who start school in Jamaica before the age of 16 will not be part of the quota system. The new rules, which come into effect on September 1 this year, will also not affect overseas athletes who have already registered for ISSA competitions. Joining us is our athletics expert, Leighton Levy. Leighton, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Ricardo. I mean, I'm here at work as usual. At home today, but I'm good.
Let me get your initial... Thank you very much, Leighton. Whatever you said just now, I'm sure it was really nice. Your reaction to the news that the number of overseas athletes able to participate per school in Jamaican high school sports will be limited?
There are two sides to it as far as that's what I'm feeling right now. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, it feels kind of xenophobic. We don't want anybody else here threatening the prowess of our athletes in Jamaica, our high school athletes, and taking their places possibly on teams for champs especially, and in schoolboy football and basketball. I mean, not so much hockey and some of the other sports that are being bandied about. But on the other hand, you're looking at denying kids an opportunity to come here that potentially could develop here and also to make our athletes even better. I mean, let's go back just a few years ago to Aaron Rodgers when he came to Kingston College. I don't think anybody can deny that the standard of our middle distance running has improved since then. It had fallen off for years from back in the 1980s. And then there was a steady increase in performances. The times came down significantly over the last few years since Aaron Rodgers went to KC. So that's how I see it. Because they didn't really give a reason in the report I read. They didn't give a reason for the decision to have these quotas now. But it just feels like it's a knee-jerk reaction to perhaps 100 athletes at champs this year, which is 0.05% of the total number of athletes competing. So it's kind of making a mountain out of a molehill in terms of trying to add a quota where a quota wasn't really needed.
Yeah, how do you feel specifically about whether the quota system is required? Remember, a quota system already existed for local transfers. So if you are an athlete in Jamaica transferring from one ISSA school to another, you would become part of a quota system. Now, to just quickly explain the quota system in terms of the numbers, in team sports where you have 11 players on a team, the quota is 3 overseas athletes, 3 transferred athletes. In track and field, 2 athletes per class. And so now the non-Jamaican athletes will fall into that quota system. What's your own feeling as to whether this whole quota system is necessary?
Well, it is necessary in the sense that you want to be able to give athletes an opportunity to develop and to represent their schools. I mean, you don't want a whole bunch of kids coming in from all over the world to then deny your young athletes an opportunity to develop and to grow. But you just said it, the system is already in place. I don't think you needed an additional amendment to compensate for athletes from overseas. It's not like they're coming here by the tens of thousands. They're coming here in maybe tens and 20s, if that many. And because 100 athletes across how many schools in Jamaica compete at champs? Over 200 schools. That's less than 2 athletes per school. Does that mean that the sky is falling. I don't think it is. It just means that there probably kids are coming here because they realize it's an opportunity to come to the best track and field high school meet in the world as it relates to champs. And to perhaps giving Jamaica a strong sporting culture in high school, their kids a chance to develop and they probably matriculate to US universities or British universities where scholarships are being offered. So I think it's another, I don't think it's an overreaction to whatever the perception was that, there's an increase in the number of athletes from other countries competing at sports in high schools in Jamaica.
Yeah, Leighton, in the past, overseas athletes coming into the Jamaica high school system would have been sporadic. No, it isn't. But you just made a good point. Even though the numbers have increased dramatically, percentage-wise, it is still a relatively low number. And while track and field may be the sport that most embraces it, it is now becoming prevalent in football as well.
Sorry, finish your question, sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say that the ISSA boss has declined to talk to us at the moment about it. So I get the impression that there is either some clarity that needs to be advertised on this issue or some level of discomfort. You yourself just mentioned that you haven't seen the reasons why the ISSA principals would have come to this decision.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like they are not clear as to why they want to make this, they impose this rule. I think it's a situation where we've seen, look, one of the realities is that there's a perception out there that some schools recruit athletes from abroad, wherever they're coming from, whether it's Africa or the rest of the Caribbean, so that they're able to win champs, because that's the big event in Jamaica every year. Is it a reality? I'm not quite sure it is. I mean, look at what has happened. Let's use Kingston College, because that's where a lot of the narrative has been in the last few years. Did the athletes that have come in made that significant difference to Kingston College's ability to win champs over Calabar or Jamaica College or not? Jamaica College also has a few overseas athletes. They didn't win champs. They haven't won champs in a while. So it's for me, it's about giving athletes who want to come. Look, Jamaica has the biggest track and field high school meet in the world, possibly, right? The news has spread significantly since the days when Usain Bolt blew up in 2008, when champs became the focus of a lot of countries across the world about the development of track and field. We have a very strong culture in track and field in Jamaica. Therefore, a lot of kids probably would want to come here to try their luck, to test the water to see whether or not they have what it takes to become a world-class athlete. In doing that, there are other opportunities that present themselves in other sports like football or basketball, because Jamaica is also a conduit into the United States, where there are massive opportunities for athletes who play those sports, whether it's scholarships or the NBA or D-League or whatever the opportunity is. So I think you will see an increase in numbers, but I don't think those numbers equate to a threat to whatever currently exists in Jamaica today. And I think we should probably embrace those opportunities, because, as I mentioned at the outset, a talented young athlete coming into Jamaica could very well make the difference in terms of some of even the non-traditional, well, not only non-traditional events, but some of the events that Jamaica is not necessarily strong in. And we've seen growth in some of those areas already. So I don't know where it just seems like a very, odd reaction to a problem that is not really a problem.
All right, hold it right there, Leighton. We're going to go to a break here on the SportsMax Zone. When we return, we'll be hearing from members of the Jamaican public on what they have to say about this issue. Take a break. We'll be back.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.